Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to Fall's One Record, and it's already the 18th edition of your favorite podcast. And today I'm joined by Darren and Alex. How are you guys?
All good, perfect.
Yeah, let's say.
I think there is one person here in this group that is happier than the other, but we are
Yeah.
gonna talk about that, of course, during this episode. Just before we begin, guys, please don't forget to follow us, put a like, share our content, comment, and support us on social media, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and X. And so we'll start this podcast with today biggest news. Of course, we were right in the middle of the first leg of the Champions League playoffs. 4 games have been played yesterday night, and 4 games will be played tonight. So we will talk about those games, and we'll start with this match between Benfica and Real Madrid. We wanted to begin with this game because it's an important subject to talk about. This game ended in a narrow 1-0 victory for Real Madrid, thanks to a superb goal from Vinicius Junior, who is in good form. But unfortunately, it's another topic that has the press in a frenzy today. Of course, we saw that lots of incidents happened yesterday night between Real Madrid players, especially Vinicius, and Benfica players. Maybe Alex, can you tell us what happened yesterday night and about the absolute disgraceful comments made by this Benfica player?
I mean, yeah, I saw that Benfica released a statement like saying that Prestiani never abused Vini. It's very difficult because he covered like his mouth like this. And right now it's like Prestiani's words against Vini's words. It's like, you know what? I don't think Prestiani is like he definitely said something to Vini, but you don't know exactly what he told Vini. Like that's the thing. So there are levels to like the power, like of the words. You know, I know what I'm saying. There are levels to his guilty. So we don't know if he made like some comments that are like very, very bad, like or even the fact that it happened is very bad. But we don't know exactly what was said, so I don't think we will ever find out.
Yeah, that makes the situation difficult, Darren, right? For the referees, but also the UEFA and all the organizations to pronounce maybe a sanction or maybe something against the player or the club. One thing that is sure, it was the reaction of Real Madrid players that seems to have hear what the players said. I heard Kylian Mbappe talking in press conference about what happened, and like, of course, we don't know exactly what happened and what was saying, but something happened, something really bad happened. We saw the reaction of the players. And in any case, of course, those kinds of comments, those kinds of speech is not, of course, able in any case, especially on a pitch, on a football pitch. It's amazing not amazing, but it's awful. To be honest, to think that still in 2026 we still have those kinds of incidents on a football pitch between two big clubs in this kind of competition. Therein, I know that you wanted also, and of course, to talk about what happened yesterday night between Benfica and Real Madrid, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, I would prefer to talk about like the technical stuff, the tactical stuff here about that game. But when incidents like this occur, you have to talk about it because everyone is talking about it right now. I saw Thierry Henry's comments about it. I saw Michael Richards' comments about it, and like everyone is talking about it. So I would like to say also a few words. So first of all, I agree with Alex on the part that it's hard to like judge Prestiani on what he says because he is definitely covering his mouth with the shirt. So for the referee, it's impossible to know what he said. So the first procedure in judgments in football is to check the report of the referee because referee report is the first evidence for the sports lawyers in order to give a sanction on the player. So there's not going to be anything on the referee's report except for the statement of Vinicius Junior. But I looked at the video that Benfica released on their official Twitter page, official X page today, and on that video, it's very clear that Vinicius was looking sideways, like Prestiani was next to him, and then he covers his shirt, he says something, and then Vinicius immediately looks back at Prestiani in shock and starts running to the referee. I mean, if he was saying something normal, Vinicius would not have ran to the referee, in my opinion. And also, like, he was looking sideways, so he didn't even know that Prestiani was covering his mouth with his shirt. So he was not, like, it's impossible for him to blame him on purpose, blame Prestiani on purpose. have said something that disturbed Vinicius. And also, like, Kylian Mbappe was in a distance approximately like 3 to 4 meters, which is, I believe, normal to hear someone. I mean, you can hear someone say stuff like that in from 3 to 4 meters distance. So I believe Kylian Mbappe's statement as well. He probably heard that just as Vinicius did. So I think UEFA should open an investigation for this case because it's like huge and stuff like this like sometimes occur, and I don't like to see this stuff, you know. And also that I hate is how the club, the fans, even the manager, even Jose Mourinho trying to defend it. Mourinho on
Yeah.
the press conference or in the mixed zone, he said Vinicius should celebrate normal like Eusebio, who's a legend, who's also black in the history of Benfica. But this has nothing to do with it. I mean, I agree that Vinicius can sometimes be annoying for the away fans, like his celebrations. That's his personality, but that is absolutely no excuse to justify racism towards a player. It's not comparable. And I also don't like Mourinho's statement. He did something similar last year when he was in Turkey as well. During a game between Fenerbahce and Galatasaray, he was saying the whole Gala bench was jumping like monkeys. I mean, he shouldn't say stuff like this because and also like he can't criticize Vinicius for celebrating because we know how Jose Mourinho celebrates as well. Like in
Yeah.
the past celebration, like he was doing this, he was like doing some
Yeah,
weird stuff. I don't know,
swish.
like exactly shushing celebration and stuff like that. So you are a manager who loves to provoke, so you cannot criticize Vinicius based on that. And also, I didn't like how Benfica fans applauded when Prestiani was leaving the pitch. So from my point of view, it's a total disgrace on the club. I don't like to see one of the biggest clubs in the Europe defending this action before any prosecution. Let the UEFA investigate. Let them try to see like different camera angles. Maybe like there's a spider camera on top of the stadium that can see his mouth more clearly. Let's wait for the investigation and reports, and then you can defend your player if his innocence is proven.
Yeah.
Because from my point of view, it's total nonsense. And I don't want
Yeah.
to blame like whole Argentina, but it always like not always, but most of the time it occurs with Argentinian players. I don't know what they like have any problems or something because Enzo Fernandez did something similar. I remember on a team bus, he recorded himself and his like teammates saying chants which were unacceptable. And Cristiani is also Argentinian, so I don't know. This is bad for the reputation of Argentinian football. Again, I have no problem with Argentina. I love Messi and I love that he won the World Cup, but I don't know. This is just unacceptable in football for me.
Yeah, I think you perfectly told everything. One thing that I think is really important is, as you said, we cannot mix everything. Like there is a situation. Of course, we'll wait for the investigation of the UEFA. I hope they will find ways to hear and to see what the player said or not, even if he didn't say that. It's a good thing to know what exactly happened. And also, what is the most important is that when you hear Jose Mourinho saying things like this, nothing can justify to have racist or to have like awful speech, awful comments on a player.
Yeah.
You are on the football pitch. If you don't like the player, if you want to make him something, you can tackle him. You can get a red card. It's your problem. But if you don't like, no, but that's true. If you don't like Vinicius, you just like Zidane did in 2006 against Materazzi. You just shot him, and then your problem is fixed. But
Yeah.
you know that if you cover your mouth, you are going to be like, okay, is this guy saying bad things? Why is he hiding? Why is Kylian Mbappe writing like this? Will he lie to the press? What is the purpose and the interest of Real Madrid to start an investigation and to stop playing after that kind of situations? That's a whole mix of awful things. But as you said, the investigation has to be made by the organizations. And then you can have the sanctions, you can blame the club, you can blame everyone you want. And just one thing, maybe to not to defend Benfica, but to defend a bit the Benfica supporters when they upload when the player left the pitch. I think, of course, they didn't have the information before of what happened, and
True.
when you're in the stadium, you just wanted to support your team in any ways. And I'm sure that today, lots of Benfica fans like kind of regrets what they did yesterday. But so that, as you said, it's a mix of lots of issues, and we have to fix it. And I think the UEFA is the best subject to fix that. Yeah, Alex.
I mean, yeah, Prestiani will probably be like sanctioned or something. Definitely for the fact that he covered his mouth. He definitely like he knew why was he covering his mouth We don't know like what he called Vini. That's a fact. But like what I want to point out is that there can be like also like things like miscommunication, some things that are misunderstood. Like, do you remember like few years ago there was a scandal with a Romanian referee at a PSG game in the Champions League? Like he was talking to his assistant in the earphone, and he was like, "Give the yellow to the black player." And I can assure you, he was no racist by saying that. It was just the way they communicated. I'm not saying like Cristiani tried to say something else. We don't know what he said. Maybe he knew that he wanted to provoke Vinny, and he knew that he gets like angry very fast, and so, but there are like always there are different sides, and Vinny could have also like there's handled it differently. I'm not blaming him right now, but I saw something very funny, like game between Barca and Real, where like Rafinha and Yamal were taking a corner, and all the Real Madrid fans were saying "negros, puta madre," and all the other bad things. The players didn't react. They were like, they were just laughing back. The score was already 4-0 or something. Yeah, I had to mention that. But
But also like
it's
if
also like
I mean
yeah, please, Darren. I was just wanted to say that it's different story when a player does it and not the fans. But yeah, there are sides to the story. Every time there are different sides, different pictures.
I mean, it's also like the score was 1-0. So when Prestiani said that he gave Vinicius a chance to like stop the game and like, I don't know how you express it in English, but in Turkish we have a saying, it's like the sweat is getting cold, you know? Like when the game stops and everyone's the energy lows down, the game stops, and like the vibe goes down. You know, he gave that chance to Vinicius, and of course Vinicius used that because they are winning 1-0, and he wanted to like secure the score also. Not because I'm saying that he wanted to be dramatic on purpose. Of course, it's horrible for a player to get under like a racist comment in the pitch, but he also like had that chance and he used it. I mean, it was very amateur and very stupid from Prestiani, even if he didn't say anything racist, even if he said just like a normal abuse word, you know. It was very stupid. It was against Benfica's intentions.
Yeah, well, we maybe will know what happened. The only thing that is sure is that football players, especially Real Madrid players, and especially Vinicius Junior, I think he so used to that insult in every game he's played. And we know that he always react to everything, and he can be like angry really fast. He can be crazy, but all the games he's playing, he receives some insult. He receives some shots by the other players, and this is not the same kind of situation. So I hope we'll find the truth and then make that situation clear. Guys, let's move and try to speak about maybe better teams, because those kind of teams have not the place on a football pitch. Of course, we are gonna talk about happier topic, Galatasaray incredible 5-2 victory over Juventus. You know what, Darren, you were at the stadium last night. That's your team, so I let you tell us about your experience of this incredible win.
Well, before speaking about like the tactical part, like the game, I wanted to first start with the atmosphere. So
Yeah.
I've been to lots of Galatasaray games in our home stadium, and I've been to like games of other football clubs in other stadiums. I've been to Santiago Bernabeu, I've been to Camp Nou, I've been to lots of stadiums, but I have never seen such an amazing atmosphere in my life. Also in a Galatasaray game. And when I'm saying this, I'm taking into account the derbies in Turkey, which are between Galatasaray and Fenerbahce, Galatasaray and Beşiktaş. Galatasaray played against Liverpool this season. I wasn't in that game, but I know my friends' comments, so I can take into account that atmosphere as well. I've been to Galatasaray Tottenham, and this game's atmosphere was beyond all of it. The stadium was full, and it was beyond full actually, because I've seen like 2 or 3 guys standing in the same seat. So it was probably over the capacity limit, but the atmosphere was absolutely amazing. When the ball was on Galatasaray side, the cheers of the crowd, the singing songs and everything, it was so loud. And when the Juventus players got the ball, the whistling, the screaming was absolutely insane. My ears started to hurt because of all the whistling when Juventus had the ball. So it's absolutely so hard to play in that atmosphere, to play in such a hostile atmosphere. So I would like to compliment all the fans who have been in that game. And when we take a look at the game, it's probably one of the best historical wins that Galatasaray had in their all-time history. I mean, 5-2 against Juventus, such an Italian giant team, even though they are not in their highest form right now in the past couple of years. It's extremely impressive on my side. The game from the first minute to the 90th minute, I would say Galatasaray had control of the game, the dominant side, the pressing by Osimhen, Lucas Torreira, Barış Alper Yılmaz, Noah Lang, and other players. It was absolutely insane. I mean, the stamina, the distances covered. I was literally getting tired just by watching them because it was absolutely amazing. And also, even in the goals, even in the sequences where Juventus got the lead by scoring 2 goals by Cope Miners, I would say that was not because Galatasaray lost control of the game, but instead it was because of the individual mistakes by some Galatasaray players. There were some easy misses of possession of the ball, like bad passes and then counterattacks, and Juventus scored 2 goals from counterattacks. But the most important part is that even when you go to the first half down by 2-1, you find the mentality, the motivation to come back and win 5-2. That's the most important part for me because in football, when teams get the lead and then they lose the score later on, they can like lose their motivation and they cannot get control of the game again. But this was not the case for yesterday's night. Galatasaray fought really, really hard. And when they found the score 3-2, and when Juventus got a red card, it was over because Galatasaray scored 2 more goals. And if maybe referee didn't give like +2, but instead he gave +6 minutes or something, I was sure Galatasaray would find maybe sixth goal or something, which is absolutely crazy when you consider the opponent is Juventus. So from
Yeah.
all perspectives, I think for me it was an amazing night. Probably the best game I ever watched live. I feel bad for Juventus fans, but it was a very well-deserved victory for Galatasaray. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do also in the second game, and if they can go on forward in the Champions League, what they're going to do, because I do believe Galatasaray are in a status right now where you call them dark horses of the Champions League this season. Of course, I'm not expecting them to win Champions League because there are like huge teams such as PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and etc. But even if they go to maybe let's say quarterfinals, that would be an amazing success for me.
Yeah, well, you just told everything I wanted to ask you that question. But before, I wanna also like insist on a point you mentioned. I think for me, what changed the great victory to an incredible one is after the red card of Juventus, lots of teams winning 3-2 against a big team like Juventus and the opponent getting a red card will try to secure the score. And that was not the case of Galatasaray. They wanted to score. And I think that's an amazing point for them because when you reach 5 goals, so you score 2 more goals after a red card, it proved that you're totally confident in what your team can do. And of course, it's a bad thing for the team that received the red card because they have to reorganize themselves. But also for the opponent, it can sometimes be hard to exactly know what to do in this kind of situation. Do you attack more? Do you keep the ball? Do you defend? What are you doing? And I think Galatasaray did the great thing, and also that is illustrates by Osimhen that hasn't scored yesterday, but 2 assists at the end of the game. I think we will have a lot of time and to talk about that player, but he's making such a wonderful season, especially in the Champions League campaign. That's incredible for a player like him. To sometimes he will not score, all right, but he will always be decisive, always fight, always try to make his team win, and that's crazy. And also good point for Noah Lam, sorry, scoring a brace. That's unbelievable. And also Sacha Boey scored at the end. That's amazing. So yeah, that was kind of a perfect night for Galatasaray, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before I give the word to Alex, by the way, I just want to point out when Sasha Boy scored the goal, he went to the stands and did like a shooting celebration or something. At first, we didn't understand what it was, but I've seen on the media, I don't know if this is correct, but it says that he did that towards the Bayern Munich inspectors because like they didn't trust him or something. I'm not quite sure, but I'm happy that he found himself back again. The Galatasaray seems to have his like book manual, just like how to use him. I hope when he goes back to Bayern Munich, they find a way to use him as well because I think he's a really great sense.
And we need the right back in the French national team too. So if he can be a good form, that's good for us too. Alex, do you wanted to add something on that game?
I mean, there's not much more to add apart from like what Darren said. He was right there. I can only imagine what it feels like for your like local team to beat a European giant. It's so amazing. Even though Galatasaray, I saw something very like funny. Galata, they have many players that have better salaries than the Juventus players. Even though they are like not from the top 5 European leagues, they have the facilities to pay players like
Yeah.
what the top European teams would do. But still, it's something amazing. And with the fans, I know how hardcore Turkish fans are. I love Turkish football, and I'm very happy overall for the win. I kind of expected Galatasaray to win, but not in the manner they did. It was 5-2. I expected maybe a 1-0, 2-1, even a 3-2, but 5-2, it's crazy. And yeah, I think if they get lucky, I don't think Juve can make a comeback. I think Galata will go through. And if with a bit of luck, maybe Galata can get past the round of 16 as well and make it to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if we manage to secure this score even in the second leg, we're gonna get either Liverpool or Tottenham. I'm hoping for
And
Tottenham.
you already beat Liverpool that season. Of course, that was not the same Liverpool as today, but you beat them, and yeah, Tottenham can be a great draw for that. That's right, of course.
You actually started Liverpool's downfall.
That's kind of true. Yeah,
That's
Crystal
true.
Palace first, and then us. And then it all went downhill for Liverpool. Also, one last thing to add before we end the sequence is that I saw an interesting statistic after the game. The last time Juventus conceded 5 or more than 5 goals in Champions League was 1958-1959 season. They lost like 7-0 against, I think it was like an Austrian team, Weiner FC or something like that. I'm not sure. But ever since 1958, they never conceded 5 or more goals in Champions League. So that is actually really crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy, and that also insists on the performance that Galatasaray made yesterday. And yeah, we'll see next week how it's going. But it sounds good for Galatasaray for the rest. Let's talk about PSG, that Monaco PSG game yesterday. PSG also secured that was a hard fight between those two teams, 3-2 at the end of the match, full of twists and turns. First of all, Monaco quickly took a 2-0 lead, especially with this goal of Balogun at the 55-second or something like this. That was kind of crazy because PSG has had, I think, 85 or 86% of possession at that time, and they conceded 2 goals, like 2 occasions for Monaco and 2 goals. So that was kind of at the beginning of a nightmare. And also, it continued with the nightmare because Vitinha just missed a penalty at 2-0. It's, I think, PSG has only scored one of the last 5 penalties they had in the Champions League. So that's kind of weird and crazy number. And also, Ousmane Dembele injury exit during the first half. So 2-0, penalty miss, and Dembele out. That was the beginning of a real nightmare for PSG. But it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, as Desiré Doué replaced the Ballon d'Or winner. Desiré Doué was kind of criticized during the past weeks because his level was not the same as the last season, of course, but he was not really involved in the team, and some journalists and also some players had some comments on his performances. But yesterday he was everywhere. He was, of course, the man of the game. He scored the 2-1 goal with a beautiful shot with the left foot. Then it was also thanks to his shot that have bounced on Hakimi, and Hakimi scored the equalizer. And then at the end, he scored the goal of the win. We have to mention also that Golovin took a red card for Monaco at the beginning of the second half. So it helped the PSG to win. But that was not the biggest victory of PSG in the Champions League. There is lots of things to work on, lots of things to do for this PSG to be really competitive as last season, to be honest, because that's Monaco. That's a team that we play each year, that we know perfectly, and we won just 3-2. Thanks to a red card. I think we will, of course, qualify next week at the Parc des Princes. It will be easier for us to beat them at home. But this victory is not the synonym of good news for PSG, because that PSG is not in crisis, but has lots of issues to solve. And yesterday was a good victory for the mantle, but not for the tactical and also the rest of the season. Alex, I know that you're a huge expert of French football right now. Of course, we all knew that PSG will maybe qualify, but are you surprised by this Monaco team fighting with PSG and watching them in the eyes, or not?
It's when you compare this match to other Monaco matches, yeah, it comes as a surprise because Monaco have had very awful matches this season, but they beat 4-0 Rennes, I think, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and it was one of the last matches for Habib Bey in Rennes. Yeah, I mean, of course, PSG was always going to win this game. I'm just sad because two French teams are up against each other very early, so the competition will be left with only one French team. And I'm gonna say that unfortunately that one is PSG, not because like I don't want PSG to go through, but it would have been better or like more interesting to have more French teams going deeper in the Champions League. Yeah, Pocognoli has a lot of things to fix in Monaco. The signing of Adingra is a great addition to the squad, but they have to fix that defense and signing Fast from Leicester, the famous player that scored 2 own goals in the same match for Leicester back against Liverpool. I don't think that's a great addition to the squad. And you have also an aging Eric Dyer. They need to do like reinforcements, especially in the back. And yeah, even with apart from Balogun, Bieret has been also very disappointing this season. Hasn't scored the amount of goals that he's supposed to. So yeah, there are many things to fix in Monaco.
Yeah, you're right to mention also Wolf Face. I don't know how to pronounce it with a face, maybe.
Yes.
Because yesterday he was like kind of the cause of Monaco's problems. He conceded the penalty on Kvaratskhelia. Fortunately for Monaco, Vitinha missed it, but still at the end, they were leading 2-0. Of course, they took a red card, but before that red card, it was... And Monaco had the occasion not to qualify against PSG, but maybe to secure a good win against PSG. Even if they don't qualify, that's great for them to win against the European champion, right? And it seems like their mental, especially in defense, was very weak, and that was illustrated perfectly by Fast yesterday. So you're right to mention it. Guys, let's move on because we're already at the half of this podcast, but the other result of this evening was Borussia Dortmund's 2-0 victory over Atalanta. It seems like Dortmund might qualify for the round of 16, but let's see next week if Atalanta can change the scenario. Let's talk about tonight because one game is playing right now. It's the Karabakh against Newcastle, already 1-0 for Newcastle, thanks to Anthony Gordon, who is the second best, the top scorer below Kylian Mbappe this season in this Champions League, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, I didn't.
7 goals. Oh, no, Harry Kane 8 goals, and now Anthony Gordon 7. So the third one. So that game between Karabakh and Newcastle leading 1-0. Guys, quickly, do you think Karabakh can make something tonight against Newcastle, or the step is too?
I mean, I hope so because they're an Azerbaijani team, and Azerbaijan is like the brother country of Turkey. So I'm praying for Karabakh to go through, but I don't think so. I mean, Newcastle is just like too tough for them. But let's keep hopes. I'm just gonna open the game in the sideways and keep checking if something happens.
Okay, you'll tell us. Alex, do you agree with that?
I mean, apart from the fact that probably Logan Paul, Anthony Gordon will score 2 more goals, there's nothing more to add. He looks exactly like 2017 Logan Paul. It's crazy. He needs to cut his head.
That's true. Maybe in 5 years or in 10 years now, because 2017 is like more 10 years than 5 years. He will fight in the Royal Rumble with WWE, Anthony Gordon. Yeah, for now, Darren, I don't know if you saw that, but now it's 2-0 for Newcastle. Malicio scored the second goals.
I haven't
maybe a comeback.
I was just thinking to log in. I didn't even open the game yet.
Bro, so
I didn't even open the game and it's 2-0 already. It's
regarding Malik Thiaw, like he's one of the top scoring defenders in Europe this season.
Yeah.
He has scored like 5 or 6 goals for Newcastle in the Premier League. He's now the top German defender to have scored the most amount of goals in the Premier League. There are so many different kinds of statistics like to point out, and it's so crazy. How did they even come up to this? The top scoring German defender.
That's crazy, but maybe he will sign to Arsenal next season because they love defenders to score goals, especially on set pieces. Yeah, let's see. Let's continue with the other 3 matches that will take place tonight. The first one is, of course, this Bodo Glimt against Inter. Alex, last time you thought there might be a surprise in that game. Is that still the case for you?
I think so. I think that maybe there will be a draw tonight.
Okay.
And maybe a tough, really close game at the return leg as well. Inter have played Juventus, and I noticed like the comments of the during the Galata game against Juventus, there were so many differences in which Juventus have played in 10 men against Galatasaray and against Inter, because Juventus played with 10 men against Inter as well. And it was a very
I
close
watched that
game.
game.
Juventus managed to equalize, having one man down. And against Galata, they really like shambled. So it's going to be very... It's true that it's a local, like, it's a league rivalry and the stakes are like much closer, but technically Inter have a better team than Galatasaray, and they weren't able to do as much damage as Galata did against the 10-man Juventus. So this is what I'm saying. I think that Inter is going all out for the Scudetto. They will definitely win the Scudetto because they have an 8-point lead. And even though Milan have a game in hand, Inter have won 12 out of the last 13 league matches. And it's great for a league, but I don't think they have the strength to carry this great form in the Champions League as well. Let's say they knock out Bodo Glimt, but the moment I think that if they face a better opposition, they will get knocked out. I don't see them knocking out better opposition, like even Atletico Madrid or something. They will be knocked out, in my opinion.
Yeah, therein you should be happy about what Alex said, because if Galatasaray is a better team than Inter, maybe Galatasaray will qualify to the Champions League final and maybe win it if they're better than Inter, right?
I mean,
maybe if we qualify to Champions League final against PSG, we're not going to lose 5-0, but maybe like 2-0. We are better than Inter.
Yeah, I mean, even against Galata, I think it would be tough for Inter. I don't see Inter like winning against
That's
Galata.
the thing about like high pressing Galatasaray does. Like we struggle against teams that play low block because you need to like do like key passes to open that low block, which is hard for us. But we do the high pressing like really, really good on an elite level. And that's what struggles the big teams, because they play the game on their own style in an open play. So when you do the high pressing correctly, you can get the ball when they're trying to build up from behind. But since we're talking about right now Inter Bodo Glimt, I don't want to brag too much about Galatasaray. I also watched the game of Inter against Juventus, and yes, Locatelli scored to equalize, but Inter managed to find the goal with Zielinski to seal the victory. But they struggled against 10-man Juventus, I agree. And Bodo Glimt is going to have a similar play style as 10-man Juventus, but with 11 men, because Bodo is a team that tries to make the game more compact on the pitch. The opponent cannot play their game very openly and very freely in the third area of the pitch. I know that because I've seen Bodo Glimt play against Galatasaray as well. So the only choice I would say Inter has is maybe give the ball to Bodo Glimt and let them play an open play and play counterattacks, because Inter is also good in counterattacks as well. We've seen this in both Kivu's game style and also Inzaghi's game style. I expect Inter to win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game. Also, which stadium is in it right now? I didn't check. Is it in Bodo?
Yeah, it's in Bodo. And also,
the first time is in Bodo.
They have artificial grass over there.
Yeah,
I know, and that's going to be really, really tough. Their grass is not natural. I know that.
yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Artificial grass
Guys,
go on.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear. Let's continue. I wrote, because I have a script for for that podcast, and I have like wrote just one thing. I'm not sure to say that because Alex is my friend, but I will say it. The next game to cover is Club Bruges against Atletico Madrid, right? And I just wrote one question. It is Club Bruges a better team than Barcelona this season?
Yeah, definitely. If I think they will draw against Atletico tonight. So they definitely won't lose 4-0. So yeah, they are better than Barcelona this season.
Yeah, Darren, you agree with that too?
I'm not sure about the part being better than Barcelona, but I agree with you. Right. I think they're a really, really strong side as well, and I think they're going to surprise Atletico Madrid tonight.
Don't forget.
Yeah, I think that this is the kind of team that can make I think Atletico Madrid will qualify for the round of 16, but you're right to say that Club Bruges or teams like this can be like not dark horses, but teams that can be complex to fight, and especially in their stadium. Let's remember how Marseille lost in their stadium a few weeks ago. It's going to be hard for Atletico. Yeah, Alex, you wanted to add something, so.
Yeah, I just like because you mentioned Barcelona. Don't forget, Club Bruges almost beat Barcelona. They had that controversial
That's true.
goal that was disallowed on
Yeah.
Szczęsny. And Atletico, after beating Barcelona 4-0, they went on to lose 3-0 against Vallecano. So that just shows that it's the play style that's the problem for Barca, but not all the time. They need to adjust the play style to the players they have available. Because if you don't have Rafinha and Pedri in the system, you are exposed because you need to put intensity. You need to have the intensity of Rafinha and the control of Pedri. You miss them both, you miss like the 2/3 of the system, and it can collapse. Like Atletico, the game looked like a FIFA. It was just like I was playing FIFA. It was so crazy. I was watching the game and I was like, oh my god, yeah, he's gonna pass it to the player on the right and he will cross it, swing it back and shoot and goal. You can almost read the play before it happens.
Yeah, that game was also crazy. That clash between Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. So yeah, we'll see. But I agree with you guys that Club Brugge can be a hard opponent for Atletico, and maybe they can secure a good draw or maybe a short victory tonight. Let's see how Atletico will fight in this game. Finally, Olympiakos will host Bayer Leverkusen. Like I'm totally and supporting Olympiakos because they come from Athens, and I went to Athens that summer and I ate maybe the best food of my life. So I will support Olympiakos. But yeah, quickly, guys, do you think that the Greeks can have a chance of beating Leverkusen tonight or no?
I think they can.
Yeah.
I think they have a chance. The game is in Athens, right? The first game.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a chance for Olympiakos because just like the atmosphere in Turkey, I mean, not in the level of Turkey, but close to the level of Turkey, Greeks also have passion for football as well.
Yeah.
So I believe they're gonna try their best to create a hostile environment for Leverkusen. So maybe Olympiakos can grab a short victory and go to Germany away with the game on their hand.
Yeah,
And
that can be.
like those two teams met right before I think they met in the final league phase game or the and
Yeah, I think so.
Olympiacos won too.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, why not? It should be. It can be like good to have like surprising teams that qualify for the round of 16. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, Leverkusen this season is not the Leverkusen we saw previous seasons before, even last season. So yeah, I think Olympiacos can have a chance. So we'll see. Of course, next week we're gonna talk about the results, and then after the draw, we will have the occasion to make our brackets for this Champions League. That can be interesting to see what will be our predictions. But for now, let's move to the European top league reviews. We'll start quickly with the Premier League. Two big games are coming up this weekend. First, let's talk about this upcoming match between City and Newcastle. With City on, I think, 4-game winning streak in all competitions, and now just 4 points behind Arsenal, the leaders. Therein, do you think City will continue to win and try to compete with Arsenal, or do you think Newcastle can like disturb this winning streak?
I think they might disturb, but it also depends in Arsenal's game against Tottenham as well, which we're going to talk about, of course. But even if City wins, I think they're going to battle as well because they cannot find a way to constantly keep the constancy. Like, this season, I don't know what happened to them, but like one day I watch them play and I say, okay, this is the City that I watched in 2022, 2021, and then the next weekday, I watch them and they make so easy mistakes in defense that I cannot even like recognize the club. So I don't think they found the consistency enough to win the Premier Leagues, and I don't think they have the chance to win it. I think this year is Arsenal's year, guys. It's sad to admit, but I think this is it.
No, but I agree with you because I think the difference between this season and last season, I think there are two. The first is that, as you mentioned, the competitors, I think the main competitors for Arsenal should have been City and Liverpool that season. Liverpool is way too far, I think. And City, as you said, is kind of weird because they cannot like pursue a winning streak and continue to win and to win. We remember a few years ago when they were like 13, 14, 15 winning games in Premier League. That was incredible, and then won the title with this, thanks to that. But maybe the victory against Liverpool at Anfield a few weeks ago has changed something for City, because to be honest, they didn't deserve to win that game. I'm not saying that Liverpool was really good in that game, but the game was kind of weird, and they have the occasion to score at the end, the penalty, everything happened. You remember that a red card of Szoboszlai with the cancelled goal, but the goal was was a huge mess, but they managed to secure that victory. And I think for City, that victory can be the turning point for them to say, okay, let's be serious, let's focus, and maybe try to do something, because Arsenal is losing sometimes points. But I agree with you saying that Arsenal will win the title. Why? Because compared to last season, even if Arsenal is not playing good, they don't lose. At the maximum, they drew, and last time they drew at Brentford away. That's not like a big issue. You know what I mean? I think they're able to beat anyone. I think at home they're able to beat anyone, and I also think that unfortunately they will be able to win that title. It will be close between those two, but I think they're gonna win it, right? Alex, do you like we were talking about City, but let's continue with that game between Tottenham and Arsenal. Let's talk about Arsenal first. Do you think Arsenal will be English champions this season?
Yeah, I think they will be, even though like there is a common hate towards Arsenal this season. It's just funny to me. I mean, I'm a neutral in this title race. I don't care who wins, because Liverpool are shit, and yeah, I prefer to cry for my own teams. But I don't care I don't mind if Arsenal win the title. I think it's deserved for Arteta. Like to judge him and make fun of him. I mean, his face is you can read the meme. Arsenal are a meme, but yeah, it's kind of funny, the whole general hate towards them. I think they will be champions. They will make it to the Champions League semi-finals. Maybe they will beat Chelsea in the League Cup final, and they will also not Chelsea. Who they play the final against?
City.
Sorry, City.
It's
Yeah,
Man City.
yeah. They will beat City in the League Cup final, and maybe reach the FA Cup semi-finals as well. Or Wrexham will knock them out. You never know.
Well, Wrexham is playing Chelsea, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah, I think
Wrexham
so,
is
yeah.
Wrexham's owner is the actor Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah,
Am I
Ryan
correct?
Reynolds
Exactly.
and McElhenney, Rob Mack.
Yeah, I saw the other day. I saw the video of him reacting, getting matched with Chelsea. It was funny.
Well, Arsenal, for you, Alex, is going to be champion. Therein, yeah, I think we all agree on that. Unfortunately, just before letting you talk, I wanted to also add something about Arsenal this season. I think that, as you said, Alex, of course, we make fun of Arsenal. Personally, don't like this team because I'm a Chelsea supporter, and I don't like Arsenal because all my best friends are supporting Arsenal, and all the French people are supporting Arsenal. I don't know why, but yeah.
Oh, really?
Maybe because of Wenger.
Yeah, but because of Wenger and a lot of French players that play for Arsenal before. But one thing that we cannot take out from Arsenal is that winning the Premier League is not something like a surprise. If you win the Premier League, is that you deserve to win it. You cannot wait 38 games and say, okay, we are the surprise. Even Leicester, you remember when they won, they deserve to win it. It can be due to different situations. Some big teams that are in a bad level, one surprise team that is very good. Things can happen, but one thing is sure is that the winner of a championship, especially the Premier League, deserves to win that. But yeah, Darren, tell us.
Yeah, I just wanted to also talk briefly about Arsenal-Tottenham game, aside from the championship title as well. So Tottenham has a new manager now, Igor Tudor.
Yeah.
I know him very, very closely because at the beginning stages of his career, he was the manager of Galatasaray for a brief time. He was previously he was in a mid-tier Turkish team called Karabükspor. Right now they are in lower division. It's not that important, but he came to Galatasaray, and when he first came, it was the mid-season, so he wasn't very successful. But after the next season, he started really, really strong, and the best side of him, in my opinion, is that he increases the physical capacity of the teams in a really, really significant way. I mean, before he arrived, Galatasaray's stamina was low, the physical abilities were not that much. They couldn't fight man to man in the pitch. But after his arrival, they managed to do that. But the reason that he was sacked at Galatasaray is because even though he was really good in increasing the physical capacity of the team, he wasn't very good in the tactical way, especially in big games. He wasn't very successful. So that's why, even after watching him in Juventus as well, I don't think he's gonna like simply snap his fingers and make Tottenham a magical team that can win against Arsenal. I think they're going to lose the game against Arsenal, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to do well in the other games and prevent Tottenham from going down to the championship. So we'll see how the game goes, but I don't expect Tottenham to win.
Yeah, you mentioned a good point. The physical aspect that Tudor has. I remember also that aspect when he coached Marseille. He made like not a great season, but still a good season for Marseille. And I think that's why it can be a good choice by Tottenham, because we know that Tottenham is a very physical team. They have a lot of really strong players in the midfield, in the defense. Like they're playing with their qualities, right? And one of their best qualities is the physical aspect. So that can be a good match between Tudor and the rest of the team. After that, we will see if they can manage to win games and to be proactive in their play. That's another question. But yeah, you're right to mention that aspect, because I think for the rest of the season, at least, it can be a good solution for Tottenham not to like go down and live a real nightmare. But we also see that in the Champions League, because I remind you guys that Tottenham has finished fourth in the Champions League league phase, right? They will be playing maybe against Galatasaray, maybe against another good team. And I think the hopes of Tottenham are also in this competition. I'm not saying that they want to win it, but imagine if they lose directly in the round of 16 after finishing fourth, and then finish in the like 13th or 14th place in the Premier League. That can be another really bad season for Tottenham. So yeah, let's see. Alex, do you have anything to add on Tudor or Tottenham for this weekend game?
In my opinion, there is only one person that can save Tottenham, and we all know that person is Ange Postecoglou. Get that man in, right back in. The owners have to admit it was a mistake to sack him and give that man his job again. Yeah. He will finish 17th again, but he will win the Champions League.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
What would be the situation if a team like finish like in the relegation zone, and then like imagine Tottenham goes to the championship but win the Champions League? What is the situation?
They play Champions League.
Yeah, they're gonna play the first slot of the Champions League from the Championship League.
Yeah, imagine that.
It happened with Wigan. Wigan won the FA Cup. In the season they were relegated, and next year they played in the Europa League stage. Yeah, while they were in the Championship, and they never came back to the Premier League ever again.
Wow,
that's crazy. So yeah. I mean, we are not praying for Tottenham to play in the Championship, next season. But if they want to play the Champions League next season, the only opportunity is to win the Champions League, to be honest, because they won't be in the top 5, I think, this season. So yeah, let's see what will going on. Guys, let's finish this European tour. Quickly, let's move on to La Liga. I want your thoughts on just what happened during the last past weeks, and maybe what will happen after. We'll start with Real Madrid, who is now first in the table. Do you feel reassured by Real Madrid's form lately? Do you think they have the all the things to become the new champion, or do you think it's gonna be still hard for them?
I think it's still gonna be hard, because when I watch Real Madrid, I don't see that magical, like amazing type of play, but they somehow win. It's like I just feel like watching Southgate's England, because they don't play good, but they somehow manage to win. I feel the exact same with Arbeloa's Real Madrid. Of course, he's not a bad manager. I think Arbeloa is doing a decent job trying to manage all these superstars and their egos and getting wins meanwhile. But I do believe that if Barcelona gets on the right track again, they can be champions, because I think Barcelona's quality right now is better. The only problem they have is they make mistakes a lot and they cannot find their 100% form. But if we consider this Real Madrid's 100% form and this Barcelona's 100% form, I think Barcelona is one step ahead. But this is football. You never know. So I don't want to talk big. Maybe Arbeloa is going to grab the La Liga title during his interim manager time. It would be amazing for him and very historical. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, Alex, talking about Barcelona, it feels like, to be honest, for me, it's like Barcelona is playing with Real Madrid, because I don't trust Barcelona to be bad at, like, not at this point, but they lost against Girona in La Liga. They're now second. They lost against Atletico recently. In the Champions League, they made some good games and some really bad games. But as Darren said, in my opinion, I'm not a Barcelona fan, but in my opinion, if Barcelona focuses just a little bit, I think they can destroy everyone, and especially that's Real Madrid. So are they waiting for the Clásico to like pinch Real Madrid and win the title, or do you think there are lots of misses for this the Barcelona's team right now?
No, there are still some pieces that needs to be like put into place so the puzzle can be completed. I think in my opinion, they need to put Rafinha and Pedri in a freezer and keep them over there so they don't ever get injured for big games. And this is we are gonna be sure that we have them for the big games. But yeah, without them, as I said before, the system doesn't work the same. I still back the system. There's no doubt about that. They just need to play different when they don't have all the players available. And also, you never know what could have happened. Like, football is all about momentum. I can assure you they would have never lost against Girona if it wasn't for that heavy loss against Atletico Madrid. It's about momentum.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago, we were talking about how the momentum is going perfect for Barcelona because they won the 15th game in a row. Real Madrid were knocked out of the top 8 in the Champions League, and they were coming back on the back of a draw in La Liga. It's like momentum. It switches from a team to a team. It's very close. I think Barcelona will win the title. I don't think Real Madrid can beat Barca in the Clásico. Barca will smash. If they have Rafinha and Pedri for the game ready, they can smash Real Madrid again. But they would have smashed them. I mean, they already beat them in the Spanish Super Cup, and the scoreline could have been higher. And
yeah, that's true.
Boys, by the way,
and you're
slight info.
go on there.
Newcastle are leading 4-0 right now against Karabakh. They scored a penalty, and then right after, on the kickoff, Newcastle grabbed the ball from the Karabakh player, big mistake, and then they scored another one. So back-to-back goals.
So the
And
kickoff
so treble for Anthony Gordon, right?
Yeah.
3 goals.
Yeah. Yes.
Amazing.
Always-
He should call Logan Paul to give him a lesson about football, maybe. But yeah, we'll see. I totally agree with what you said, Alex. Barcelona misses some pieces, but also when they play good, it seems like they are the best team in the world. So I think we all want to see if they can be able to beat that team or not this season. I think they can be, especially in La Liga. In the Champions League, it will be different because I think their defensive problems are kind of big, and against big attacking team, maybe Bayern Munich or teams like this, it will be hard. But I think Barcelona is way too good to lose that title this year. I'm not saying that Real Madrid is not good, but it's not the same level, right?
Yeah, I mean, and imagine if Barcelona had like just some little amount of money to do some transfer.
Yeah.
Just imagine Van de Ven in that defense. That defense would be crazy. And a better striker, because when you have Lewandowski, you miss Ferran Torres. And when you have Ferran Torres, you miss Lewandowski. Those two are like a very interesting experience to watch this season. If they had money to bring players in, it would have been different. Their only transfer after that perfect season was Cancelo. I mean, what the fuck? He's washed. He came from Saudi Arabia.
But that's crazy.
Imagine Victor Osimhen going to Barcelona, maybe.
Yeah, and Victor Osimhen. He would score, I guarantee, 30 league goals and 40 goals in all competitions. He would like fly in those goals week in and week out.
I agree.
Yeah, that's sure. That's something sure.
It doesn't happen.
I hope it happens.
Yeah, well, let's see. But that's crazy to see that Barcelona, even by winning titles, even by being one of the greatest team in Europe, is not able to spend money as they want. But yeah, maybe in a few years it will be good for them. Let's hope, guys. I think we don't have enough time to talk about all the rest of all the subjects. Just one thing. We will talk next week about, of course, the Champions League, but also about Europa League and Conference League, because we didn't have the occasion to talk a lot about those competitions. So maybe it will be the occasion to talk about that. because Fenerbahce is playing against Nottingham Forest in the Europa League. So interesting game for Fenerbahce. Darren, you will talk about that maybe next week. And also, I wanted to mention something. This weekend, two interesting Serie A games in Italy. The first one is Juventus against Como, and the second one is Atalanta against Napoli. Just quickly, guys, to end this podcast, which one of these two matches are you most excited about? If you have to watch one, will you watch Juventus against Como or Atalanta against Napoli? Darren.
I personally will watch Juventus Como because I want to see how Juventus does after the Champions League loss and before the second leg. I think they might win this. They need a reaction, so I don't know.
Alex, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same answer for me. I will watch Juve just because I watched their past two games against Galata and Inter, but also for Como because they have been very surprising this season. Fabregas may be the next Barcelona coach, so you never know. You need to scouting. Ajax 2017 level scouting.
Yeah, well, let's say I thought you were saying Fabregas' new striker for Barcelona.
He would be better than Ferran.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Guys, thank you very much for this edition. It's already the end of this 18th podcast. Thank you all for watching or listening to us on our various platforms. Once again, please feel free to follow us on our social media. Sorry, put a like, comment, and share. It's been a pleasure. Guys, see you next week. Darren, good luck for next week against Juventus if we don't do a podcast before. And we'll be there very, very soon at the same time. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Monaco as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.